The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, and The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls Online lets you take part in the story set within the compelling history and deep lore of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Designed you want to play, you can start wherever you like, with no level restrictions and no subscription required. This massive world is yours to explore, alone or with friends. Choose a favorite location or storyline and jump in. From the capital cities of the Three Alliances to the magical Somerset Isles. From the Khajiit territory of Elsewhere to Morrowind, the home of the Dark Elves. From frozen Skyrim in the north to the endless swamps of Blackmarsh, adventure is everywhere. Are you ready to forge your own legend? Options for creating and personalizing characters in the Elder Scrolls Online are almost without limit. Choose from 9 different character races, with a 10th race option available as an add-on. Select from 6 unique classes and customize them to fill exactly the role you want to play. Want to create a high elf sorcerer who wears heavy armor and wields dual daggers for close quarters combat? Why not? Or maybe a Redguard Dragon Knight who prefers light armor and a bow. It's completely up to you. Earn skill points as you adventure across Tamriel to improve your character. Then master and customize your skills to match your style of play. As you explore the world, keep an eye out for sky shards. For every 3 of these rare crystals you collect, you earn a bonus skill point to spend on your character. The in-game skill advisor provides recommendations on how to best spend your points at each level, based on the different roles available to your character. And you can always reset your skills and reallocate your points whenever you visit a major city, so you can build and play the exact character you imagine. Go anywhere, do anything. That's the freedom presented in the Elder Scrolls Online. The game scales your character to content, so explore any dark cave or mysterious forest that intrigues you. Adventure on your own, or with friends, even if those friends have wildly different levels or belong to different alliances. Dive into the rich and varied story content as a solo player, or join a group to take on the most dangerous dungeons and boss monsters in the world. During your character creation, select one of the 3 alliances competing for power in this era. The Daggerfall Covenant, the Ebonheart Pact, or the Old Mary Dominion. Each alliance features a unique and compelling storyline, but your choice never precludes you from playing with friends of different alliances. The Elder Scrolls Online is designed so you can travel anywhere at any time, no matter your level or alliance. Tamriel is a dangerous place. When you cannot sneak or talk your way out of conflict, you have to fight. The Elder Scrolls Online features an action-based combat system, reminiscent of the classic Elder Scrolls games. Use your skills, special abilities, and a combination of light and heavy attacks to defend yourself and your allies while you obliterate your foes. Unleash powerful synergy attacks when fighting as part of a group, and use block and dodge to reduce damage and avoid enemy attacks. If you prefer sneaking to direct combat, you can use stealth to evade detection, get around obstacles, or even set yourself up to unleash a potent surprise attack. Even the best solo player needs a little help now. Use the group activity finder and the friend list to team up with other players for a dungeon or other adventure. The Elder Scrolls Online community is extremely welcoming to new players and invites them to join in. Our players go out of their way to help new players and show them the ins and outs of adventuring in Tamriel. This is especially evident within player guilds, a great way to meet others and develop lasting relationships that enhance your game. Join a guild to trade resources, tackle group content, or simply chat about the latest revelation of lore. There are also ints your character can join to receive new skill options and special rewards. The Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, the Dark Brotherhood, and the Thieves Guild are all accessible through story content. And for a real challenge, join the Undaunted and earn a unique skill line and extra rewards for tackling group dungeons. Dungeons present some of the most difficult and dangerous content available in the Elder Scrolls Online. From the small dungeon delves that challenge solo players, to group dungeons that require 4 players to take on, to the ultimate 12-person trials. These strange and wondrous places offer amazing visuals, complex battles, and compelling opponents unlike anything else in the game. Once your character reaches 10th level and you have a better understanding of the game, The Elder Scrolls Online gives you the option to participate in a variety of player versus player, or PvP, content. Duels offer a more intimate PvP experience, where you can test your skills or try out a new character build in one-on-one combat against another player. Battlegrounds present short, intense combat, as 4-person teams take on 15-minute battles to earn achievements, experience, and special rewards. Alliance wars are large-scale battles, where the 3 alliances fight for control of the imperial capital of Cyrodiil. With siege weapons and massive armies, fight to capture and defend keeps and win the day. While you adventure and explore, don't forget valuable resources you find scattered throughout the world. These items can be used to craft weapons, armor, food, potions, and accessories that you can use to improve or further customize your character. Develop your skills in one or more professions and improve them by completing specialized crafting writs. The professions include alchemy, blacksmithing, enchanting, clothing, woodworking, provisioning, and jewelry crafting. The Elder Scrolls Online provides players with the ability to own and personalize homes for their characters all across Tamriel. Homes can be acquired by completing quests, purchased through the Crown Store, or bought with in-game gold. Houses consist of single-room abodes to multi-chambered mansions. But nothing beats the opulence or grandeur of a manor house, complete with luxury accommodations for your character and up to 24 guests. Home ownership doesn't end there. Craft furnishings and accessories to personalize, improve, and decorate your home. There's never been a better moment to jump in and start playing The Elder Scrolls Online. With access to a multitude of adventures all across the width and breadth of Tamriel, and the freedom to play wherever and however you like, it's time to begin your Elder Scrolls story.
Thanks, Maribel. Welcome to ESO News. Hope you guys are having a great day and great drive. There's a lot of things that are going on this week. The summer sale's going on, and the Zeal of Zenithar event is going on. So that's some great events going on in Elder Scrolls, showing a connection. I'm a little upset on some of the things that are happening in the Elder Scrolls universe. I'm not going to go over the entire things that I'm upset about. However, we're going to start in over on X. This is some great things. Getting ready for the event. This is some great stuff. Starting out with the 4 set items that are from ElderScrollsOnline.com. That's a great thing. Getting involved with ESO. That's a great thing. Hopefully, you guys are super excited about the things that are coming in, and there's a horsey that came in. There's an equine Legion Zero Destroyer. Destroyer. That's the horsey. So if you like Legion Zero type of stuff and the in the third DLC, you're gonna love Destroyer. Now, as far as the daily login rewards are going on, there are some problems with actually seeing the actual daily login rewards. So just to let you know, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to see what's going on. I'm going to get into Xbox here in a little bit and see what's going on with that. I was over on Steam earlier, and the console just was not computing here earlier. So what's going to have to happen is we're going to have to kind of take it slow. There's a lot of things. Some of the questions that are being asked in Elder Scrolls Online right now is disastrous upon the system of when things are not working properly, and then certain people are asking those questions if they can do those certain things. Disaster. Emerald Moon Biscuit. There's Destroyer. Destroyer's getting in. I don't know if I can explain all of the problems here today, but I'm going to try to explain the best that I can, to the best of my knowledge, to where this actually gets fixed. I am super upset that some of the game systems are just not working properly like they should. I have to complain and complain and complain. And hopefully you guys are understanding that, like, of why sometimes I complain. I don't complain for just nothing. Right here, you guys looking into Legion Zero Destroyer is available for 2,500 crowns. It says in here in ESO Online, by forcing their steeds to consume the blood of Cold Harbor, the traitorous soldiers of Legion Zero created a warhorse unlike any other, adorned with fearsome barding and their sullen red colors. This is truly a mount to be feared. So if you're in Legion, if you consider yourself a Legion Zero player, well, you can get yourself Destroyer. This will be a good horsey for you to get. So if you're like a PvP player or a PvE player, what are you going to choose? Is this a PvP style, or is this a PvE style horse? That's a good question. We talk about this all day long. Who's getting Destroyer today? So you're looking at spending about $30 to get Destroyer. So if that's how you play, yeah, you got to get Destroyer. Next one, these are all new item sets. This is some pretty sweet stuff. Next one up is the Belorg Arms Pack. I don't know what this character is, but it looks like a werewolf of some sort. Looks like a cuter werewolf. It's really scary. Just when you thought things were scary, they just get scarier. Baylor Arms Pack. Available for you guys that are non-ESO members for 2,500 crowns. For those of you that are ESO members, available for 2,000 crowns. Baylor. I think that's how that's spelled. Baylor. So it's the Baylor Arms Pack. I'm just going to say and write Baylor is the actual item that's being presented. And so that should have went in. Emerald to Moon Biscuit. I'm sure Baylor wants a Moon Biscuit. This is an actual outfit. Character you're going to turn into Baylor? Maybe you do want to be Baylor. The next one up here in ESO Online is the Shivering Isles Anointment. Now this is really good stuff. It looks like there's butterflies, the ointments or the anointment of butterflies. Gonna get this in really quick, then kind of talk about the anointment. Anointment. Okay, good. Come around to Moon Biscuit. So the anointment from Shivering Isles says here in ESO Online, butterflies, glowing pink eyes. The Shivering Isles calls to you. Will you fight the call or bend the knee to the mad god? So this what this has to deal with is Sheograth. If you're a big into Sheograth, you're gonna get butterflies on your player's skin. You don't want to get a bunch of tattoos of butterflies all over your body. The Shivering Isles Anointment is available for you guys for 1,600 crowns, whether you're a non-ESO member or an ESO member. All available for 1,600 crowns. The last item here is called Blossom Bloom. This should be interesting on what this this item set is. I'm kind of interested in what this is going to do. Emerald, a moon biscuit. And cage works. So the Blossom Bloom is that is the last item set, and this is a really good thing to go over here in ESO Online. The Blossom Bloom says here in ESO Online, this eternally blooming flower once graced the bier of a Dibellan high priest. Gifted to you for services rendered, you may now command it yourself. All available for 1,200 crowns. You can command that Blossom Bloom. So we got the 4 set items in. I'm going to go off the screen, take a short break, and then get into some of the more complex matters that are going on, because we're having many problems inside of ESO Online. So I got to speak about that to where we can get that taken care of. I'll be right back. Welcome back to ESO News. Just got back in here and moving outside of X, going into what some of the problems are. I'm just going to explain here in the picture. Right now, currently, there can't be two pictures presented. There's only, this is basically, in theory, only two connections being broadcast here through ESO News. Now, what I'm talking about with having two pictures, which creates us three connections, what I'm gonna show you guys here is I'm going to build a line of what I'm talking about. Um, let's see here. Now I'm just gonna draw here really quick. A quick thing, what's called a line. You can see the line is being drawn. This is a great thing. X is already complete for the day. So those of you guys in X can kind of sit back and relax and look at like what's available for you guys in X. This is an outside thing here of X, but this does have a relation to what's going on in X to help better the connection. So what I'm talking about with a connection, I'm building an imaginary connection. Now you'll kind of see what I'm saying, where we need connections. And I'm talking about on the screen work of screens when you see people talking, or you see different types of pictures. Right over here, what I'm talking about with pictures, this is a building block here for you guys to understand, where some of these things, they have to be paid when they're pinpointed. And we need pinpointed locations throughout all of the different mapping systems. The map in the ESO Online is not currently completely functioning, and that's the purpose of where you stay in a specific console. There's three major consoles that are known, such as Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. And what I'm talking about, the outside branches for ESO Online is PC and Mac. Now, what I'm talking about over in Discord, there was just a discussion where a user had asked, can I switch my profile over from Steam over to ElderScrollsOnline.com? That's not possible because Steam is outside of a PC or a Macintosh. What I have to explain is you can't switch over a Steam profile, for example, over into ElderScrollsOnline.com. The reason why is because that's a different system. When we don't know if you are a PC user or a Macintosh user. Those are two different systems. And what I have to explain, and those people that are trying to finagle the system, they're getting caught, and it's not a good thing. When somebody asks to have a profile switch, if that's possible, because that's not possible, because that's not part of the system. Hopefully you kind of understand what I'm talking about, where we have related connections. Now, PC and Macintosh are a related device, and those actually do connect up to Elder Scrolls type of material. However, a Steam profile switching over to a PC or a Macintosh won't work, because Steam is a different system than a PC or a Macintosh. Just as much as an account in PlayStation is different than an account in Steam. I've got to explain where Steam is the last, like the end, the end of the end. And I don't know why why some users are actually trying to get into the system, switching a profile, because that won't work. And if you're trying to switch your profile over from another account, that's working in vain. That's actually trying to transfer files in vain. It's not that that's what I'm saying, that's not impossible. However, that's doing things in vain. And what I have to explain is stay in your type of console. If Xbox, if you can find a place that will help you get into the game through a PC or a Macintosh, that's great. The company will bend over backwards to get you involved on a PC or a Macintosh. But if you're going beyond the system, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. And so what I have to explain is there can't be too many things that go in. If there is a foreign connection, nobody's going to understand what the foreign connection is. So what I'm going to explain is like right here, for example, this is a foreign connection. This is foreign. This is like alien. You see, you kind of understand what I'm saying when I say foreign. Alien. That means not native. That means if you're asking if you can use Xbox as a PC, that's alien. Now you can get onto a PC or a Macintosh and use a like an Xbox profile. I know that for a fact. On PlayStation, I'm not so for sure on how that actually works. But what I'm suggesting for those of you guys that play ESO online is to directly just deal with one console. It actually brings a lot of stress into a lot of different people if you're trying to do things out of the ordinary currently, like to where nobody knows what's going on. If you are bringing in a foreign connection that nobody sees, that's going to present some problems. Now, I'm explaining on a deeper level where we're not able to receive emails in some form right now. Over my Google account, for example, one of the emails inside is not processing messages from the payments that have been received. Hopefully, you're understanding what I'm saying, where the money is being taken out, but the receipt is not showing up on the email screen of the devices. Do you understand what I'm saying? If we don't have a written record, that's not going to work. What I'm explaining is how do you know what was paid or what wasn't? There's times when an account is erased, that information is not there, that you're paying a monthly fee. But what I'm explaining, when somebody is paying a monthly fee and we don't see that information, where did the money go? You see what I'm saying? There's people, and this is what it looks like, honestly. What this looks like off of an email standpoint is there are people that are taking money from ESO online and they're not being seen. Now that's a problem. So I'm going into a little bit further on what I'm talking about is connections inside of the picture. We have two literal connections, but you just don't see it just yet. What those people are doing is they're trying to add connections that nobody knows about. And so what I have to explain is we have to pinpoint these locations and they have to be paid. And also, those of you that are not willing to pay cannot go into a property. This has happened to me for years and pretty much has to end on the people that are coming over near my place. Now I'm going to explain a little bit further about how people are using Wi-Fi hotspots that are not supposed to. What I'm talking about with a user just might be walking somewhere on the street. This is going to go further on how the connections actually work in ESO Online. So I'm just using one individual person as an example. They're walking around, and there's a thing. They're looking for a connection. Now the person finds that there is a possible connection, but they don't live there, nor do they own a personal piece of property that they're walking into. Now they see, but they're not supposed to go in, and they know they're not supposed to go in. They have a nice little smile on their face because they see the connection. There's nothing wrong with the person going onto a person's property, but when they use a thing such as a Wi-Fi hotspot or a connection that is there, what I'm talking about is a cell connection. Those cell connections, basically what I'm talking about is an air line. It's not a Wi-Fi line, it's an air line. You cannot go into someone else's property. And what I'm talking about, if you were to show up over at the Besta studio and say, hey, can I use that and get that for free? Besta's going to say no. You have to pay for that connection. Just as much as if you were to go over to the ZeniMax online studios and ask for a connection for free, they're going to tell you you need to pay to get inside. It's like going to a movie theater. You have to pay for a ticket. And so this is leading over going into the event of the Zeal of Zenithar event. You gotta buy an event ticket at least to be in there. You see what I'm saying? You walk over, you go into the Zeal of Zenithar event where everybody is, but yet you won't pay for an event ticket? Well, that does no good. You can't just be on an event and not have paid before. So this is going to be an important thing. Have you paid an ESO membership before? If you haven't, you need to at least pay for an event ticket inside of the Zeal of Zenithar event that's going on right now. What I'm talking about with the cell connection, this is a tree, an imaginary real tree that a mass of people that have gone over and have latched on to the cell connection and haven't paid for the connection. They're like, wow, there's a connection, I have a connection, I have a connection. And then down the road, they don't have a connection, but the information is still saved in their device. Now, why is that information still saved in their device? Now, what I'm talking about with the information that should not be in their device is because they haven't paid for the information. They haven't paid for a pre-connection. You have to pay for a pre-connection in order to be connected. What I'm talking about here is this is very, very difficult with what I'm talking about. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk. I'm not talking about the foreign alien connections. I want us to be native. Hopefully you're understanding what I'm talking about being native. You don't want to be considered an alien, and you don't want to be considered a foreign connection. If you are a foreign connection, you have to explain where you are. And if you're hiding, that does us no good. This is how serious the subject is, because there's just certain people that are walking around with a device in their hand that haven't paid for the connection, but they're so happy that there is a connection that they can try to latch onto. You can't do that. You might be able to do that temporarily, but you're not going to be able to do that permanently. The whole point of this subject and this discussion is for you guys to get fully connected. Now, what I'm talking about in the screen, this is okay. I'm just going to use this as an example. This is the imaginary screen. Okay, hopefully you guys are understanding. I've got to take this slow because otherwise some of you guys won't understand. This is a very serious matter about what's going on, where you guys have to pay for a connection. This is very important to understand, so you guys will pay, and then the outside people that actually take the payments or actually work on the screen will be able to see that your screen is actually paid. That's a beautiful thing. Get your account paid. Get your account up to date. Get your bill up to date is what I'm saying. If you're already in the system, you paid the base game, but you're not paying an ESO membership, either get the event ticket now because it's very, very inexpensive. And if you don't have an ESO membership, you are in big trouble if you are going over into Belcarth right now. So this is the imaginary and this is the real. Hopefully you see by what I'm talking about with the line of what I'm talking about, like a real television screen is what I'm talking about. Is right here. This is the TV screen to where like you either see a person in there that's waving around their arms. What I'm talking about with the real screen is that the real screen, when a person such as the imaginary person that has been, many real people have not paid for the connection. What they've been doing is they've been either taking a picture in real life. They hold on to those pictures that they've actually it's like illegally copying an object. This is what is happening in real life. What I'm talking about, you might not have understood that before, but what that is, when you actually take a picture, I'm just going to use this as an example because I can't explain this fully. Now, say this is a person or whatnot or whatever this is. What I'm trying to explain here is when you take a picture, that information is saved where that pinpointed location is. What I'm talking about in here in the entire screen is we have pinpointed locations, just like we have pinpointed locations of pictures of real life. Whether it's a picture of you in the picture, or whether it's just a picture of the hills of a mountain or some trees, those locations are saved into your device when you actually take a picture. What I have to explain is you have to pay for those things. What I'm talking about with right here on the person that's walking on the street over into a little property line, it gets a little fuzzy on people when they start asking all sorts of questions of what can I do or what can I not do. When you're involved with a good set of people, they're going to set you straight and just do what they ask. That's the important thing to understand. Pay your due, and you'll do yourself some good. I have to explain this over and over again in order for this to actually be understood. This is the same thing about what I'm talking about. Okay? This is a real life imaginary screen. Hopefully you're understanding that. When that information is taken, we have a pinpointed location. In the example location of the mapping theme screen in Elder Scrolls. This is a preview of the new Elder Scrolls version that is coming out for you guys, which is called Elder Scrolls 6 or Elder Scrolls VI. This is an important thing to understand to where we can get the parchment in 3 parts. We have the 2 parts, but we're looking for the 3rd part. Now, those are going to have to be paid. You see what I'm saying? The last parchment, the 3rd parchment, is going to have to be paid. And so what I'm talking about here with having the pinpointed location over in this example location, it's the same thing in real life wherever you live. You got to pay for those surrounding pinpointed objects that do actually produce the knowledge for where. That's the whole point of having pinpointed locations. It's so we know where you are. If you're having a question about what I'm talking about, if using the ambulance as an example, the ambulance would have no idea where you were if you had an accident and you called up 911. Earlier on, I tried calling 911, and where 911 was picking up my signal, I talked to them specifically, and they said that I was in the signal was picking up a couple miles away, where that was not the correct location. You kind of understand what I'm saying? The importance of why authorities have to actually come into certain things. They're doing it for your own good. When the authorities actually pinpoint the locations, they're doing it for your own good. So not only the authority can grow, but also so you can grow, so everyone can grow. That's the reason why we have pinpointed locations. Just because you see an imaginary screen doesn't mean the imaginary screen is not real. What I'm talking about in real life, we need pinpointed locations in the map system in real life to work. Once we have the real life map system working, we can go in to the imaginary mapping system in which Elder Scrolls works on. Hopefully you guys are understanding that. I'm going to go off of the screen here, and hopefully that will materialize in your mind of what I'm talking about. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your day. Just got back here. Hopefully, this is making a lot more sense to those of you guys. The reason to pay. What I'm talking about here is just an imaginary person that has been many in real life that I've seen. And what I'm talking about, a person that might live over here. Look at what I'm saying. They found a connection over here that's not their own. They're like, I wonder how I can get that connection and actually talk to somebody from that pinpointed location that's oh so good. Well, there's a plain, easy answer to that. You gotta pay for service in order to get service in your place you reside in. That's the whole point of paying for a connection. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense of how if you are a person who actually goes over to another person's place and actually use Wi-Fi for free, look what that means. You're not in your own place. Look what happens if you mess up. Boom, you're no more. You can't live in your pinpointed location that has been given to you. See what I'm saying? There's no connection with you and here. If you're actually messing up right now, do you really see? You need to listen to me. If you don't pay for a connection, you're not going to be connected when you get back to your place. Say if you're going over to my place, you're like, "Hey, can I use your internet?" I'm like, "Oh, sure, you can use the internet. Just pay the proper channel." It's a very simple process to where if you're not paying, you don't have a signal. That's what this dot represents. Is the it's a signaled location. Now this little dot, that's a representative of getting the connection, the signal to where you can communicate. Now the signal location has been given to you. However, do you have the availability of a signal that is paid? Is the signal real? If you haven't paid for a signal, then that signal doesn't work. There might be some sort of magnetic current that is actually producing something, but that's a temporary. If you're not paying a monthly fee, you literally don't have a connection in the place you're at. Look what you're doing. You've been going over to a place like mine or somebody else's that pays each month. You're going over there because the signal is wonderful. The signal works. Now, how are you going to be able to get your signal to work? Discuss that with your friends or your family right now. That will help you out in the future, guaranteed. just about to get into the event going on here. If you guys haven't got into the summer sale, and if you haven't looked into the summer sale, that's going to help you out as we're gearing towards branching out from the Zeal of Zenithar event back into the summer sale. You see what I'm saying? It's not a direct connection with the Zeal of Zenithar event. However, there is a connection there. This is the point of the summer sale is to promote the different games that are available in Steam, and that's one of the console systems in Elder Scrolls Online. It's an important thing for you guys to get involved in. And so I heard earlier, I was like, you've been using my grandmother's internet for too long. And now it's time for you to pay. Time to pay because grandma has a connection. Well, imaginary grandma has the connection. And what I'm talking about is those of you that are going over and using other people's connection but don't have a connection yourself, you've got to get caught up. I'm not even joking. You've got to get caught up. You are using other people's connection for your own purpose. That's what I'm saying. When you go back to your place, you don't have a connection. How can you even communicate on a place like Facebook, Tumblr, or X? How can you even communicate? What you have to do is you have to get your stuff straight in order to build yourself a connection. And that's what I'm explaining, the importance for you guys to getting involved more with Elder Scrolls and paying that proper channel. There's very little places that you can pay in Elder Scrolls Online. It's very simple. Elder Scrolls Online is very, very simple. There's not that many things to deal with. I'm just explaining how it is. There's not very many places. Stick to one place. Be connected to that one place. If it's over in PlayStation, stay connected to PlayStation. You see what I'm saying? If you are using, for example, if you have a PlayStation console and you're using that PlayStation console over in the person that has an internet connection, but you don't have an internet connection over your place, look at what that does. You say, hey, I can pay a monthly fee in my account and I can use somebody else's internet. That doesn't work. That temporarily might work. This has been used against me multiple times. I don't even understand why. You've got to pay for a connection. If you are paying for a monthly connection and you're using somebody else's Wi-Fi, that might be okay in some forms, but it's not going to be okay permanently. What I have to explain is get your stuff straight to where you can have your own connection where you're at. It does none of us any good by just like rambling and complaining and you listening, you just sitting down there listening, being quiet. You got to listen to what's being said to where in order for you to be able to grow in the place you're actually at. Look what I'm saying here. Now, if you're living with another person, and you say, "Hey, I'll pay this connection." That's your thing. You have to talk to your person that you live with. Now, if you live with imaginary grandma, you say, "Hey, can I use your internet so like I can get on here?" On the internet, most companies, how it works is there's 5 lines available, and if you're tying up the line from another person's internet, look what that does. If you place 4 different devices in that line, and the imaginary grandma, for example, is using the internet, but she wants to use another device, and you're using 4 devices on the internet line, that doesn't work. Imagine our grandma is going to be upset because she can't use her own equipment. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense of what you're paying. That when it comes down to it, you've got to pay for your own internet. You got to pay for your own connection. You can't just keep on going over to a place that has Wi-Fi capability. That's the important thing. The beautiful thing about connections is when we see a signal, that is beautiful. The things that make it so stressful is when people are using Wi-Fi that is not their own. There is a point to being able to use another person's Wi-Fi. That's a temporary purpose. What I'm explaining with using the internet, of course, everyone has to get in. Nobody can just get in. And what I'm talking about, you getting into a line, that's a given. At first, that's a given. And what I'm talking about, once you have been given, you have only a certain amount of time to get your stuff straight. If you have not paid for a connection line in which you were supposed to have paid in a timely manner, you're not going to have a connection. You're not going to be able to play ESO Online. You won't be able to play another Elder Scrolls game. What I'm explaining is you have to have a connection of your own. You can get in to the internet, that's given to you at first. But the longer you go in and the more you get comfortable with not paying, that's going to get you into trouble, because you're gonna ask for more things in which you can't get. What I have to explain with the importance of paying a setup fee and a monthly fee is for the importance of having a permanent connection. You want to have a permanent connection in the place that's called Tamriel, or otherwise people know Tamriel as Nern. That's another form of saying a planet. Over in Tamriel, some consider Tamriel the Elder Scrolls universe, whereas Nern is the planet inside of Tamriel. Tamriel is like the end statement for the whole universe. When I'm talking about having the pinpointed locations correctly established, that's the important thing. It's just like in real life pictures, when we plant those pictures on where those pinpointed locations are, you cannot latch onto a connection that is not your own. You see what I'm saying? If you take a picture that is not your property, think about it. You take a picture that's not on your own property, you are in some form intruding, and that's not a good thing. And what I'm talking about, if you do take a picture, you have to pay for that pinpointed location. All that information comes in. I'm not even joking. When you take a picture and then you're like, wow, that's really cool, because that is cool, because the location is actually marked, and you can find out where the pinpointed location is in real life, in a real life picture. In a game picture such as here in the 6th version, we have to have these pinpointed locations. And what I'm talking about, when we pinpoint those locations, we have connections. Right over here, right over here, right over here, whatever the example locations are. So what I'm talking about here with the connection of you paying a fee, a continual fee, that's the most important thing on what Elder Scrolls actually does. It's actually connecting you up to the ones you love and the ones you need to be connected to. So what I'm talking about here is having a connection. building that connection to the pinpointed locations that have been presented. These are actual locations in the game. This is just an imaginary board, for example, has not become real just yet. And we're going to get in further into getting the locations pinpointed to where we know the exact locations inside of the game. And what we have to do is we have to plant those cells in real life. And where we live, we have to pay for those connection fees in order to get the imaginary connections and the real connections established. What I'm talking about with imaginary grandma and you, if you are using imaginary grandma's connection, she's going to expect that to get a connection back. See what I'm saying? If you're using imaginary grandma's connection, for example, she's going to expect and she's going to receive a connection back. You want to be like the imaginary grandma. You want to receive a connection back into the place you live in. And that's what I'm explaining with the real life pictures and the real information that's pinpointed when we have a pinpointed location, when we have an emergency, we need to know where those pinpointed locations are. If those things aren't paid, we don't know where those locations are. And if we get information of where a pinpointed location is, and if that location is not there, in which the device actually produces the location, if that location is not paid, then we might get misinformation and we won't be able to save someone. You see what I'm saying when I'm talking about with 911? If we have a different location than the actual location, we're not going to be able to save someone. What I'm talking about with having the locations pinpointed, such as over in the Alliance War, over in Cyrodiil, this kind of reminds me of the mapping system over in the Alliance War in Cyrodiil. We need the connections to be established to where we have those connections actually functioning. Over in some of the consoles, we're not able to fast travel over into the pinpointed locations because of other players that have gone into the system that are either in another console that are playing on a company system. That doesn't work. Now, what I'm explaining with the user over in Discord of what they were asking, can I switch my Steam profile over into ElderScrollsOnline.com? That's not possible because ElderScrollsOnline.com is meant for PC and Macintosh. That's the literal board for ElderScrollsOnline.com, and you kind of understand a little bit more of when you go over into the Steam site. It's a totally different part of the system. It has the same graphics and the same pictures. However, there are different things that are inside. It's a different system. What I'm talking about is PC is a different computerized system than Macintosh, whereas Macintosh is a different computerized system than PC. We try to get it almost perfect. A PC connected to a Macintosh is never going to be perfect, completely perfect. We can pinpoint the locations almost perfectly where they are, but they're not going to be exact because a PC is different than a Macintosh. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense of what's going on, how we get a connection. It's not that PC is any better than a Macintosh. What I'm talking about is we need a connection. So what I'm talking about here in the mapping system here of the 6th version, we have to have a connection, a replica connection. this is getting further in about what I'm talking about. We have to have a duplicate connection. Look what I'm saying. This is both PC and Macintosh that are working together. I never thought this would come down to this about me explaining this, but I have to explain this. PC is no better than a Macintosh. However, we have had to combine the systems inside of ElderScrollsOnline.com, in which we did not want to. However, we had to because people want to play the same game. Now, when going into the chat line, if you are a PC user or a Macintosh user, that might be intruding inside of the chat line inside of the Steam console. So just to let you guys know, if you have finagled the system in some way or form, that might be giving us a problem by you going in from a different branch console. If you want to get down to it, a PC is a console and a Macintosh is also a console. It's just a different part of the system. So what you have to do is you have to actually stay with the actual console that you're working with. If you're dealing with a PC, you want to deal specifically with PC stuff. If you are working with a Macintosh, you want to deal specifically with the Macintosh. Just the same thing as a Steam device. You want to have a Steam console that's working with Steam. You're not going to be able to specifically work off of a PC. See what I'm saying? That's why Steam is the leading game console in the world. Hopefully you guys are understanding that a little bit more of when there's fights involved. And there have been many fights throughout the years where who is better? Is a PC better or is a Macintosh better? That's why we made the Steam console. That's some great information to have. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your day and your drive and understanding a little bit more how we have to have the circle working. Just got back in here, and what I'm talking about is use of addresses to where we can use those addresses to find places. And what I'm talking about in here is the game screen for Elder Scrolls version that's coming here in the future. What I'm talking about is pinpointing the locations. If we don't have the correct information, the locations will not show up on the screen. I'm going to go in here into Google Maps, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here with the right over here in the ZeniMax Online Studios on the pinpointed location here for you guys to understand a little bit more of what I'm talking about for the game screen. Okay, so at the mapping system up here, this is the actual address that's presented for ZeniMax Online Studios. This is a very small place. There's not a lot of people that are inside of the building, but it's a very important pinpointed location for both ZeniMax and Vesta. If Vesta does not have the exact pinpointed location for ZeniMax, say we're using a PC, for example, the pinpointed location on a PC is going to be similar, but not the exact location. It's going to be almost perfect. And that's why we have to get the system working a little bit better. As you can see, these are all different things. What I'm talking about, if you are paying a monthly membership in ESO Online, you can go in and you can find the location to ZeniMax Online Studios. Now, what I'm explaining, if you go over to ZeniMax Online Studios, say, hey, can I, if you're over from the Courtyard, Baltimore, Hunt Valley, was it a golf course or I don't know, it's a motel, looks like. And if you'll say, if you go over from the Hunt Valley, Courtyard, Baltimore, and you ask ZeniMax, hey, can I use your connection so I can get connected up and so I can go talk to my girlfriend or my boyfriend? ZeniMax is going to say, no, you can't use the connection. And look what this is from the picture from before. You're a person that is just like looking, hey, I'm going to go over to ZeniMax and I'm going to try to use the connection. I'm going to try to take a picture of ZeniMax. But you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? When you take a picture, you're physically at a location. That will not actually connect you up if once you leave from wherever you're going. Say if you're staying over at the Courtyard, Baltimore, Hunt Valley, and you take a picture, and then you think that you're connected. If you live in a different country, for example, this could be 2 blocks away from the ZeniMax Online Studios. Same thing. If you are living for example, a different country, you go over, you stay over at the motel, hotel, whatever this is, and then you take a picture, and you say, hey, I do have a connection with ZeniMax, but you're not paying a monthly fee, or you didn't pay the setup fee. You don't have a connection. What I'm talking about is you took a picture of the example ZeniMax Online Studios, and you're telling people that you have a connection, or you have the information of ZeniMax Online Studios physical picture. That is going to cause some problems. What I'm explaining, when you go in and you take a picture physically of an address, that is literally going into your device, and that's sometimes stays in your device. And if you're not paying a monthly fee, you're going to get yourself into trouble. And so that's why I'm explaining the importance of paying a monthly fee so you don't get into trouble. this is a perfect example of if somebody like goes over that does not have a connection and doesn't pay, they're going to be in trouble. So what I'm explaining is you've got to pay something, and if you're not paying the motel, look what that means. You're in trouble with ZeniMax Online Studios, and you're in trouble with the Courtyard Baltimore Hunt Valley because you didn't pay anything. I would never do that, but there are people that have been doing that. So I have to explain how important it is to actually pay a connection. You gotta pay to be in some place. So I'm going to go back over here into the game screen here that has been presented for with the game screen of Elder Scrolls, the future version that's coming in. We don't have a whole lot of information on the game stuff, and I have to explain how the connections, the difference between the real life locations and then the imaginary locations. Imaginary locations are inside of here, and they're just as much important to us as the real life pinpointed locations. We take gaming very seriously. Hopefully you guys are understanding that, how important it is to pay for a connection. I'll be right back. I know that sometimes I just got to come back on here. Hopefully you're enjoying your day. If you're listening to this and you aren't paying for a connection and you're thinking that I'm talking like I'm being harsh, because I'm not being harsh. I'm just explaining how this actually works. How you have to pay for a connection. You can't get into a place if you're not going to pay for a connection. It's the same thing of you've got to pay a certain amount of money each day in order to be able to live. And that's what I'm explaining is the importance of you having a connection wherever you live. It's an important thing to have a place, and I don't understand why some people choose to live out on the streets. I don't want to live out on the streets. I don't live on the streets. I don't want to live on the streets. What I'm explaining is the importance to stay off the street, pay that connection fee, and you won't be on the street. That's the most important thing. You can't just go along with somebody who is paying and then going to a place. Say there's two people that go over to a company business building. One person is paying, but the other person isn't paying, and then they start explaining. The person that isn't paying explains that they will try to pay later. That doesn't work. When you go right into a business building, the actual business employees are going to expect that you have paid something previously in order to get in. There's reasons why you can't get into certain places in a building. If you haven't paid for a certain subject, a company's not going to let you in. What I'm explaining with the company over in ZeniMax Online Studios, I can easily go inside of the online studios because I have a connection with Elder Scrolls Online. What I'm explaining with the building over in Elder Scrolls Online Studios is for the purpose. If I were to go over to Maryland, the company would let me right in, add the stuff that was needed for if an update were physically needed to be seen, as in witnessed, that the system is getting updated and getting fixed. What I'm explaining is going over from, say, the ZeniMax Online Studios all the way back to my house. We would latch on to each other's connection. You see what I'm saying? We're latched on to each other's connection currently because we both pay. The other scenario of the two people that walk into a business building, one that's paying and then one that is not, there's a chance that that person that is paying that goes into a business building will not get what they're desiring, what they came into the business building for. The whole purpose of both parties paying is so we all have a connection. Do you see what I'm saying? We want to be happy and we want to have the little connection balls connecting up with each other. You see what I'm saying? We want the walls to actually connect up with each other. That's what the connections are. This kind of looks like a cross. And look what I'm saying is when you pay for a connection, where you live, that's going to help you grow on wherever you go outside of the place you live. It all starts out with getting help with somebody that does have a connection, but the expectation is that you're also paying later on in a timely manner. Not a couple of years later on down the road. You want to make sure that you pay as soon as you can. And that's an important thing to prepare. I'm not going to go into like when you're going to get paid. If you just started your job and you're going to get a paycheck in 3 weeks, I'm not talking about that. You need to be prepared beforehand, and you need to get your stuff straight. If you just started a job today and you're getting paid in 3 weeks, what are you doing watching ESO news? Why aren't you working? Wow. Now, if you're watching and you don't have a job, look what this means. The place that you're at, that you live in, you don't have a connection. You don't have a job. How are you going to be able to be connected when you go back to your place in which you're going to have to be made to go back to? You got to think about that now, how you're going to be able to get that connection in your place. That's the important thing. So that's what I'm trying to urge you to do is get that connection built so you can actually produce the things that you're meant to do. It's a beautiful thing. In Elder Scrolls, in your profession, whether you're doing it in alchemy, enchanting, clothing, um, any all types, different types of professions in Elder Scrolls that will help you get and stay connected. That's an important thing, and most important thing of staying connected. Not just getting a membership and deciding a month later you're gonna actually delete your account. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is so you have a permanent connection and you have a permanent bond with the people you're communicating with. If you communicate with someone and say, "Hey, I'm gonna go and I'm going to be with Elder Scrolls permanently," that's where you're gonna want to actually start preparing. You don't want to go into Elder Scrolls just temporarily. If you talk to somebody and say, "Hey, I'm getting into let's play the game tonight," but you're just thinking about being in Elder Scrolls for a month, look what that means. In 2.5 months, the person that you tell, "Hey, I'm going to play Elder Scrolls," 2 months later, they ask you, "Hey, come on over, and let's or here I want to come over to your place, and I want to play Elder Scrolls with you," but you don't have a connection anymore. That's a little misleading. And so what I'm explaining is when you do get into Elder Scrolls, if you're not into Elder Scrolls, don't get into Elder Scrolls. We're all about connections in Elder Scrolls to where we get the pinpointed locations available, just like real life pinpointed locations. This is real, and you might think it might be imaginary, but this really is a real picture. And this is real learning. Hopefully, you guys are getting ready for the event. Going to try to get over into the Zeal of Zenithar event here shortly. Hopefully, you're enjoying your drive and day. I'll be right back.
Your hands know the value of hard work. Come here, dear heart, and listen to what I have to say.
Just kind of here, we're in the game right now. We have that going on right now. This is the problem that we're having. I'm going to get into this really quick and then get off this kind of explain to you guys what's going on inside of Steam. This is inside of Xbox, and this is a direct reflection of what's going on inside of Steam. Look what we're saying when we first log in. I'm going to try to speak really quick to have you guys understand. What I'm explaining inside of Steam, not inside of Steam. What I'm saying, we have a link. What I was talking about with the pinpointed locations in the Elder Scrolls, this is the exact thing that needs to be helped to where we get the inside for the daily login rules. If we don't have this place working, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. The system is not working. That's why I'm explaining how important it is for us to get this thing in. It's available in other places over on any Elder Scrolls Online in Steam. However, this is not how the system has been working. So what we have to do is we have to have the information properly tuned up to where we have the information going in. Looks like right here is the tri-restoration potions are what we're going to be receiving for the day when you do log into your account. And if you're in Steam, you're going to be knowing what I'm talking about, where it's a hard thing for you to get. It's an actual blessing. If you can actually see this screen inside of Steam when you first log in, you need to latch on to the people and listen to them so they can get this screen in to where we see the other things inside of Steam. It's the most important thing for you guys to understand. We don't have a chat line working, and we do not have the daily login rewards to really see. It's an important thing for you guys to understand. This is all we have in Elder Scrolls Online. If we don't have these things working, we don't have a running system. We don't have a PC to work with. We don't have a Macintosh to work with. We don't have a Steam console to work with. We don't have an Xbox console to work with. We don't have a PlayStation console to work with. We don't have anything to work with if these things don't work. So that's the important thing to understand. But we need to be able to see the daily login rewards and what we're going to be able to receive, what we are receiving throughout the entire month. And this looks like this is quite possibly the last thing that's going to be received in the month. That's yet to be seen, because right here, I'm just going to explain this, how the system actually works. This is what most likely is going to happen inside of the system. This has not yet been seen, but this is proven from past experience of what I'm explaining here. It's like right here in Steam, okay, for instance, we're in the month of Sunset, for example, which is otherwise known as the month of July. Right over in here, it takes either like 2 or 3 in the second or the third week of the month. Look what happens. This usually on Tuesday or Wednesday, either Turdos or Midos is when the system goes haywire. This has been seen previously, and what I have to explain, this is the example thing to where we have to prepare, where we don't have these functions now. What I'm explaining here is, like, just for this example, this is the example Turdos, where we're going to be receiving a crown soul gem, 10 of them. And what I'm explaining, what happens is Xbox, and this is literally Xbox. What I'm explaining is Xbox goes back, and Xbox users are seeing the crown soul gem, whereas Steam users, for example, are showing that receiving the crown of heritage. This is something we have to prepare for. I'm not for sure how this is happening, but the actual this is how the consoles are getting messed up. What I'm explaining is we need the ability to see the daily login rewards each and every day. So, anyways, looks like the dry restoration potions are the ones that are being given today. Hopefully, you guys enjoy your event, and if you do see this on the screen, get involved in Elder Scrolls Online. It'll do you some good, where you can learn a lot more about animations. The event is just about to end here on July 2nd. This is the current day here is July 1st, so we have a little under a day that's going on. I think 10 a.m. is when the event is actually ending. So we have a little bit. This is like the ending of the Zeal of Zenithar event that's going on. If you haven't gotten an event ticket yet, please get your event ticket now. It's available with 15 hours and 54 minutes already. I'm going to go off the screen and leave this on here for right now. Hopefully you guys get more involved with Elder Scrolls. I love Elder Scrolls and everything about Elder Scrolls. Hopefully you guys will get more involved in Elder Scrolls with things like getting involved in the Zeal of Starts out get an event ticket. So get your event ticket if you have not gotten an event ticket already. We're live over at the event going on. Those of you guys over in PlayStation Steam, this stream should look the same on your screen as it does right now. This many users, whether you're in PlayStation or Steam. If you haven't headed over to Belcart, head over to Belcart and become involved. A lot of players are in here right now. This is a great thing. Don't you want to become involved if you're in PlayStation or Steam? That's how busy Xbox is. Hopefully you guys are getting involved in the game. This is really fun. I love this. Head on over to Belcart here today and get involved with the event today. Get yourself an event ticket, and you'll have some fun with your friends and family. This is a beautiful thing. This is ending in here in about 13 hours. Now is the time to get your PlayStation and Steam and get involved with the event. I'm gonna help better the connections whether you're in PlayStation or Steam. If you're enjoying your drive and the game night is gonna be great. It's Oakland versus Sports. Are you guys ready for the game night here tonight and enjoying the event? If you haven't gotten into the event already, get into the event now. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty happening.
Betrayers approach. We have no nonsense. Warriors of Miram, stand fast against Mora's minions. The staff of many paths was never meant for mortal hands.
We are at a crossroads and must choose our path wisely.
The devastated area is spawning dangerous beasts. Someone needs to answer for all this.